Parshas Achimois Kedoshim. Ushmartem es chukosai, v'chai bohem ani Hashem. You should live with my chukim. The Gemara Masechta Yoma, Daf Pei Hey Met Beis. Omar Rab Yehuda, Omar Rav, Mikan lepikuach nefesh, shedoche es hashabos. A person is not allowed to be Mechalel Shabbos. If he's Mechalel Shabbos, he's put to death. So if a person is in a sakona, and the only way to save himself is by Mechalel Shabbos, who says that you are allowed to be Mechalel Shabbos to save yourself? The Chilul Shabbos is Chayiv Misa. That's why Rav says, we have a posuk, V'chai bohem, v'lo sheyomus bohem. You are allowed to be Mechalel Shabbos to save yourself. If you Mechalel Shabbos not to save yourself, then it's Chayiv Misa. The Levush Asakashe, in Simen Shin Chof Ches, Hilchos, Pikuach Nefesh and Shabbos. Why the Torah writes Beloshon Nister, V'chai bohem, and they should live? The Torah should say, Betichyu bohem, and you shall live. Why does the Torah tells me I should save somebody else's life? So the Bush says, an interesting shaila. What happens if somebody wants to save somebody else's life? Who says I'm allowed to be Mechalel Shabbos to save somebody else's life? There is an Isur Miderabonon, Redias Hapas, a special skill to pull out bread from the oven. It's not a malocho, but it's a chochmo. In the Torah it's muter, Miderabonon it's osur. What happened if somebody was Mechalel Shabbos and he put bread in the walls of the oven? If it gets baked, if it didn't bemaze it, the person is going to be killed, put to death. He was Mechalel Shabbos. But if somebody went and pulled off the bread before it baked completely, then there's no chiyuv misa. Should a person be over a mitzvah miderabonon, which is redias hapas, to save somebody's life because he was Mechalel Shabbos bemezit? Reuven was Mechalel Shabbos bemezit. Before it gets baked, before the malocho becomes a malocho, I want to go and do a malocho derabonon to save, to spare his life. The Gemara Masechta Shabbos Daf Daled Omed Beis says, "Ein oimrim leodom cheteh b'shvil sheyizchik habercho." We don't tell a person do an aveiro so somebody else should be saved. Let the person get killed, and you're not mechuyev to go and to do an aveiro, and you're not allowed to do an aveiro even though it's an aveiro miderabonon to make the dias hapas. So what would be the halacha? If I see my friend needs to be driven to the hospital, can I drive somebody to the hospital? So the Levush says, we know you're allowed to do it, but what's the mekor? What's the mekor for Hatzolo to be matzed somebody else's life? By being Mechalel Shabbos. So the Levush says, this is the mekor. Because the Torah says over here, Bechai bohem, you should live through mitzvahs and not die through mitzvahs. And even if we're talking about to save somebody else's life, Bechai bohem, not betichyu bohem, you should save yourself. So now I know that I can save somebody else's life. How do I know that I can save my own life? The Torah is telling you I can save somebody else's life. But how do I know that I can save my own life? Through Chilul Shabbos. So the Bush says, Akal v'chomer. If I can save somebody else's life through Chilul Shabbos, Alachas kama v'kama, I can save my own life through Chilul Shabbos. Like Rabbi Akiva Dashin's Chayecho Koitmim. This week we'll lay in two parshas, Acharei Mois and Kedoshim. In Parshas Kedoshim, we found a posuk which is very fundamental in the Jewish law. Ve'ohavto leracho kemוך ani Hashem. Perek Yutes, posuk Yudches. Why is so fundamental this posuk? Rashi brings down the Shitas Rabbi Akiva. Ve'ohavto leracho kemוך zehu klal godol baTorah. It's the pillars of the Torah. This Rabbi Akiva is a Yerushalmi in Masechta Nedorim. But the Gemara in Bava Metzia, in the 5th Perek Eize Hu Neshech, Daf Samech Beis Omed Aleph, poses a question. What happens if two people are going in a midbar? One of them has enough water for one of them to survive. If he drinks that water himself, he'll get to Yishuv. If he splits with his friend, both will die. What is the right thing to do? Dorash ben Petura when Petura says, Mutav sheyishtu shneim, better both should drink, half and half, veyamusu, and both should die, ve'al yire echod mehem b'misas shel chaveiro, and one should not see the other friend's death. Half and half. ואהבת לרעך כמוך. Until Rabbi Akiva came, and he argued, it's not correct. The Torah says in Parshas Behar, B'hei achicho imoch, the life of your brother should be with you, the same. Chayecho koidmin, your life is before. We see Rabbi Akiva holds that you don't split the water. You don't say half for you and half for me and both should die. Apparently, this Rabbi Akiva in Mesechte Metzio clashes with Rabbi Akiva in Yerushalmi Mesechte Nedorim. What does it say in Yerushalmi? That the yesod of the Torah is Ve'ahavtu l'reacho kamocha. You split half and half. So in Yerushalmi Nedorim says you split, and in Bavli Bava Metzio you take everything for yourself. How do you explain Rabbi Akiva's shita? If the Chassam Sofer want to come with a big hidush, there are two dinim. There are Gashmios and there are Ruchnios. When it comes to Olam Hazeh, Gashmios, drinking water, who's going to survive? We say, Chayecho koitmim. Your life is before somebody else's life. That's obvious. A person has to take care of himself before he takes care of somebody else. But when it comes to Divrei Torah, should I give away my Torah, spend time learning with somebody else? Or no, should I say, my time is more important, and I have to sit down and learn, and not give away my time of learning to somebody else? So that's what Rabbi Akiva says in Nedorim. Ze klal godl ba'Torah, ve'ahavta l'reacho kamocha. When it comes to learning Torah, you don't say, my time is more important. A person should give away time for somebody else. So the Gemara in Bava Metzia is talking about Gashmius, and the Yerushalmi in Nedorim is talking about Rochnius. That's the way the Chassam Sofer explains the stira of the Bavli and the Yerushalmi in the Shittas Rabbi Akiva. But Rabbi Moshe Feinstein in the Igros Moshe asks a very strong question. Olam Hazeh is called Chayei Sho'o. We only live until certain amount of time. Olam Habo is called Chayei Olam, life forever. So we make a kal b'chomer. Ma'adoch for Olam Hazeh, a person does not have to give away his Olam Hazeh for somebody else. Chayecho koitmim. Al achas kamo v'kamo, a person does not have to give his Olam Habo for somebody else. This is a kal v'chomer. And Reb Chaim Kanievsky brings a Gemara in Mesechte Kesubos. Rab Simi Bar Ashi asked Abaye, he wants to learn with him. Abaye told him, I'm sorry, I'm very busy, I'm learning for myself, I cannot give away my time. So you see from here, not like the Chassam Sofer, a person doesn't have to give his learning time for somebody else. So Rab Moshe wants to say, how much time does a person has to give for somebody else? He says we find by Meiser, a person is supposed to give from his Nechosim a tenth of his Nechosim to the Leviim. Meiser. So a tenth of his time he can give away, he should give away. And he brings a story that Gemara tells us about Rebbe Preida, who had a lot of patience, especially with one of his Talmidim who had a very hard time to grasp his learning. Even though Rebbe Preida was Rosh Yeshiva, he sat down with this Talmud and he learned with him over and over, up to 400 times, until he noticed that the Talmud was able to grasp. He gave away his time for a Talmud. That's Lifnim Meshuras Adin. After that, a bas call came from Shamayim and he said, Rebbe Preida, we have seen the great patience that you had for your Talmud. You have a choice. We can grant you a long life, 400 years, 1 year per time that you learn with your Talmud, 400 years, or we'll give you that all your generation, your entire generation, v'zoichet to olam habo. Of course, Rabbi Preda says, I want my entire generation should be zoichet to olam habo. And Shamayim said, we're going to give you both. And Rabbi Preda lived 400 years because of his patience. So Rabbi Moshe says, from here you see that if somebody does lifnim mishur sadin, he's allowed to give out more of his time for somebody else.